Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd.
This astrology report is for the week of January 20th, and we have another jam-packed week this week with just loaded with planetary aspects, and it's a very exciting time in the astrology. We are just really on the edge of some cutting-edge stuff here. There is some pretty major planetary movement taking place, and that's planets moving into new signs, which always bring in new paradigms and new energies, and have us look into things just a little bit differently from different perspectives. And then also, just about every planet is going to have some impact, some touch on Pluto this week, which Pluto is the massive planet of transformation and permanent change for the future. And then also, we are in a new season. The sun has entered Aquarius. So as we enter the week, we have fresh energy there. We've moved out of Capricorn season, which is Capricorn's the grounded earth sign, is a cardinal sign. So we just got done with that, starting all kinds of new things to ensure that the structure and the order of our life is the way that we'd like it. Capricorn is an ambitious worker and gets things done where the work needs to happen. So as we move and transition out of Capricorn into Aquarius, it's a much different type of energy. Aquarius is an air sign, and this is a much more futuristic type of energy. It's also the sign of revolution and revolutionary thinking and action. And Aquarius is the sign of the people. So it's really about groups of people, like-minded folks joining together to, cause awakening, to cause revolution, to cause change, to cause permanent change on the future. So, lots of Aquarius energy coming in this week. So we'll be chatting about it, and here we go. So we start the week with the moon in Aquarius, and we did just come off of our Capricorn new moon, and that was a reset point for so many of us. It's also a reset point for that area of your birth chart that Capricorn represents. And so you can check out where a lot of these endings and new beginnings are taking place by looking at this last degrees of Capricorn and first degrees of Aquarius section of your birth chart. And moon in Aquarius, bringing about that revolutionary type of energy. It's about awakening and a sudden type of awakening that is going to have an effect on the future and is going to pull groups of like-minded people together to fight for causes. And then we start the first planetary aspect on the 20th of January is Mercury in a sextile to Neptune. And this is just lighting up the minor grand trine that has been in effect for many months, but is now coming to a full perfection point. This minor grand trine has been at the last degrees and first degrees, last degrees of Capricorn, Pisces, and Taurus, and the first degrees of Aquarius, because Pluto's already moved there. So the interaction with a minor grand trine is about supportive energy. It's been between the major outlying planets, which is just quite rare that they take this formation, and that there has been so many personal planets grouped together and touching on all of these points at the same time. I mean, Mercury is coming through this sextile with Neptune today, but in fact, all the other personal planets have already done it. The moon did it recently. Venus and the sun and Mars have all all been doing the same activity. And so it's making these moments very pronounced. And with so much of this kind of stuff kind of grouped together, going through the same circumstances, it's being like re-highlighted and re-highlighted and re-highlighted. And as Mercury passes through this point, we are reaching the end of this minor grand trine. So this time has been very supportive, and it's been an easy time to make change and to create new cycles, allow the endings of all of the Pisces endings to happen, and the new beginnings to finally start coming in. So Mercury moving through that 29-degree point of Capricorn, it's a critical degree. Neptune has been at 29 degrees of Pisces now for a few weeks. We've been feeling this critical degree as Neptune reaches the last degrees of this sign of Pisces that it rules. It is intensifying all of the things Piscean. Pisces is about endings. It's the last sign of the zodiac. So they're very much okay with allowing cycles to end. This is also, Pisces is about just the dissolvement of all the details, of all the rest of the stuff that the zodiac represents, all the other signs, they all come into this 12th sign of the zodiac, and everything exists in Pisces. And it's the dissolvement of everything all together. And it's almost like this very gooey state. Pisces is a water sign, and it's also about emotions. And it's a very, very emotional sign with Neptune there specifically. Neptune, the ruling planet, has been intensifying all of these things that have to do with Pisces. Pisces is also the sign of addiction and also of sort of like hypnotism, or maybe not hypnotism, but delusion, just being like completely deluded or like even a little psychotic, like kind of that form of that, where there is this dissolvement of everything that there's no more details available. So Pisces is a really interesting energy that it's good to focus on the things in Pisces about unconditional love, okay, and connection to source and intuition. This is where that critical degree that Neptune is sitting at in Pisces is really, really important. It's bringing on an extreme precision to our intuition and to our connection to source energy. And that is like the truest form of guidance that you can receive from anywhere in this in this universe. Again, the intuition being that first point, okay, and then source energy, right? So that's like the power of the earth coming through, the power of the universe and the greater intelligences that exist outside of everything that we can even understand. And then Mercury moves through that 29-degree point and moves into the 0-degree point of Aquarius, bringing in more Aquarian energy, making things more social, more communicative. See, it's an air sign, so it's about talking a little more and sharing things, sharing ideas, coming up with things as a group. But you know, that 29-degree point, it's feeling quite nostalgic right now because this is indeed the last time that Neptune is going to be at this 29-degree point of Pisces for our lives. It's a 160-year cycle. Okay, so Neptune was at this degree 160 years ago and will be again in 160 years. But this is all we get. This is it right here. So that really strong intuition, that dreamy that comes through, see, because Neptune's about our hopes, dreams, and desires. You know, it's about creating these visions, but not necessarily very detailed visions. It's almost just about keeping that dream alive and continuing to dream. And this is nostalgic because this is the last time that any of these planets in Capricorn are going to be touching on this Neptune in Pisces. And it's like super artistic and creative and just very dreamy and like can almost come up with anything with the imagination. The imagination can run wild right now. And then Aquarius is going to be a little more detached. So Mercury moves into Aquarius. We get a little more of a detached communication style. Mercury is our communication style. It's the way that we speak, the way we communicate, the way we think. So we are getting a change to that. It's going to be much more intellectual, much more detached emotionally, because that is something that Aquarius absolutely is that they are detached from emotion. And that's just something very specific about Aquarius because they are the water bearers. So they are the ones that actually collect the water. Aquarius gets confused for a water sign because it has like water in its sign, really, in its glyph. It looks like a little water running. So Aquarius is the water bearer. And what that means is that they collect all of the water and they then bless it for the masses. So that's where these groups of people, right? Things are coming together to make a grander, greater difference, leaving this imprint for the community, for the greater groups, the greater society that exists. Also, Aquarius can just bring in a lot of mental chatter. So we are like, our mind is awake when Tuesday evening comes around. And then the moon moves into Pisces this evening. We just talked about Pisces, so we get a touch on all of that emotional overload, this critical degree that Neptune is at in Pisces, and this very, very intense Pisces energy that's coming through. So it's very important to try to keep your head above water with that moon in Pisces and so much of this 29 degree point taking place. And then on January 21st, we get the sun in a Kazimi with Mercury. And that just means that the sun is going to catch up with Mercury and move right over the top. And this brings insights. This brings brilliance, the sun, okay? And the sun also is like our ego. It's us. It's our identity. It's what we're doing. It's how we're identifying with the world right now. So on Wednesday, the 21st, our world gets some major insights. We get a blast of this Aquarian awakening knowledge that's coming through Mercury right now in these first degrees of Aquarius. So we get news and information that's big and important and insightful on the 21st. And the moon is in a conjunction with the North Node this day. So that means that the 21st is a very fateful day. So this Kazimi on a fated lunar day, we are getting fateful news on this day, and it is going to be quite insightful. On January 22nd, the same planet, Mercury, which is moving quickly right now, is going to be aspecting with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of permanent change and transition and transmutation. Pluto is about burning things down to build them up again. So there is a new cycle that comes in, because after all, when we get planets that conjunct each other, like when the sun conjuncts Mercury, that starts a new cycle for the sun and Mercury. And then Mercury and Pluto get a new cycle started on the 22nd. And this does have to do with more Plutonian things having to do with power and control. Okay, so this is absolutely a Pluto aspect where it's part of the control factor. Okay, who controls what? Where does the control lie? Who has the power? Well, the power is in Aquarius right now. So if you want to look more at your birth chart and see where this powerful transformation point is coming through, it is at 3 degrees of Aquarius. That is where Pluto is, and that is where all these personal planets are coming through and having transformative permanent changes for the future, starting brand new cycles in regards to where the control is, okay, and also where we are transforming. And there's very much an aspect to Pluto and Aquarius that is about the future. And it's very, very futuristic. Okay. So this transformative aspect of Pluto is going to be having permanent effects on the future, that is going to be changing the power and the control structure of it all. And it's going to have to do with like technology too, because technology is a huge part of Aquarius. Aquarius rules technology, and we know that technology is playing a major role in things right now. It's actually playing a major role in this 29-degree point of Neptune, confusing things quite a bit. See, Neptune also has this way of confusing, distorting, and creating a lot of illusion and delusion also. And so we're in this time period where things are a little bit confusing. Things are a bit dissolved. There's not a lot of detail available, and we're really, really waiting for all of these Pluto conjunctions to see where everything needs to transition, where the transmutations are taking place, what type of awakenings, just even this Aquarius energy is about being in the dark 1 millisecond, and then 1 millisecond later being in the light. So it's an instant insight. There is a brilliant lightning bolt aspect to Aquarius. And as we have all these personal planets making this interaction with Pluto, Mercury on the 22nd, Venus did it on the 19th. The Sun is going to be doing it on the 23rd. We're going to be getting zaps. We're going to be basically this. I see this as upgrades for sure, because Aquarius is having to do with the future. And this is a permanent fix. So we're getting zapped. We're getting upgraded. We're graduating. Happy graduation. Congratulations. If you've been doing the work up to now, it's going to go easy, and it's going to make sense, and it's going to fall into place. And it's just going to be karmically true. If the homework has not been being done up to this point, these Pluto aspects could be feeling quite painful. They could be feeling quite forceful. Things that we've been trying to not do finally happen, and we're having to deal with the death and the rebirth around that. Mars is moving into Aquarius on the 23rd, and Mars is our physical body. So our physical body catches up. We have a physical change of gears on the 23rd as we get used to this new energy. And Mars has been in that grounded earth sign. It's been like step by step by step by step by step, and very rational and realistic about everything. And then it moves into Aquarius, and it's subjected to a completely different type of energy here. So there's going to be a settling in for the physical body moving through Aquarius for the next 2 months. And then, the Sun makes that conjunction with Pluto on the 23rd also. And that makes this day being another one of these days where more of these shadow areas could be coming through, because Pluto, being the furthest planet out in the solar system, definitely represents shadow areas. And so things that we didn't, taboo areas, like things we don't really want to talk about, things we've been shoving down, things we've been stuffing into the closet, are going to be coming up this week. And it could feel quite extreme because, as I mentioned, all these planets are grouped together. It's doing it all. Everything is highlighted right here all at once. And that's also not so fun for Aquarius, because Aquarius wants to do things its own way. It's about being independent and being an individual and doing things my way. What makes me totally and completely unique. And when the world comes in and the cosmic course corrections come in, it's like painful for a fixed sign of Aquarius who wants things to be done their own way. The moon moves into Aries on the evening of the 23rd, and there are 5 sextiles on this day. So this is going to be a quick moving day. It's going to be easy to make these changes and move through all this stuff. In the end, when the moon is moving through the aspects, it's really what makes the mood enable, the movement through a lot of these things. So with all these sextiles on Friday, I think it's going to go well. And we have a couple of inconjuncts over the weekend with Venus and Mercury in conjunct the South Node. And this is adjusting to changes. This is adjusting to these permanent fixes. And the moon moves into Taurus on the 25th. Have a lot of squares over Saturday, that is Sunday the 25th and Monday the 26th. Lots of squares, okay? This could be challenging. There's some really challenging lunar activity. Squares are like sometimes being a little blindsided. And then Neptune moves into Aries on the 26th. And this is really the big change of energy, okay? The fog moves on. We see a change of this critical degree point. We move out of that 29 degree point into fresh new energy. And Neptune has not been at this degree point for 160 years. I mean, it touched on it last year. Okay, so we've actually seen the entrance of all of this last year. Before these planets retrograded, they did touch on this 0 degree point. So we're going to be going back to some of those things that we had been working on last year. And now they're going to finally start coming through. Okay. This is like those last cycles, they're done. And the next cycles are coming in. The endings are finally ending, the end of the endings, and the beginnings of the beginnings are finally getting to begin. And this is a permanent fix, a long-term change for the future, a brand new reality of which we are all going to be experiencing together and adjusting to. And I am definitely looking forward to more of the astrology in 2026. It's very exciting as we move through. And I really appreciate you being tuned in here to the Cosmic Community Astrology with your galactic ambassador, Stacey Dredd. And I just wish you the very, very best. I'll be chatting with you again very soon. Take care. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.